I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the final round of qualifiers here at the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown. We are in Swift Current, Saskatchewan for this curling stadium production. My name is Jim Nix, and I'm here with Sam Steep on the other mic, along with Cailey and Jaiden and Cailey in the production and cameras end of things. Looking forward to the C qualifier game between Brad Gushue and Sam Mooibroek. I don't know much about the Mooibroek team, but I believe that Sam does, and I know a little more about the Gushue team, and they're probably not happy after the last game.
Yeah, they certainly got outplayed by John Epping's team, and not like Team Gushue to have two rough games in a row. I expect them to bounce back. This should be a very competitive game.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I'm sure that they discussed a few things in between games, and just had an uncharacteristic series of misses by almost everybody. I was thinking about it afterwards, and I thought, I know Jeff had a couple of really long guards that weren't great. He slipped a guard into the house at the end. And I knew that Watcher had a few misses, and even Mark had a few misses that aren't the norm for him. So I would expect them to be much better here. So I think Mooibroek will have to be quite good, and he's been good so far. He's 4-2 in this event, which is a not bad record at all. 2 more games than Gushue's played.
Yeah, they decided to take the long route. They had to play the C play-in game to the quarter. They dropped down from a B quarter to they dropped backwards in the bracket. So they have had 3 wins in a row and are on quite the streak right now.
Nice shot there by Botcher. Yeah, I think 7 games has got to be the most you can possibly play in this event to get to the playoff round. So Mooibroek coming off a win, I believe it was last weekend or the weekend before in Brantford at the Stu Sells Brantford Nissan Classic.
Yeah, I decided to let him win as I didn't make the playoffs in that event, but
no,
he ended up winning the event, and they played great. They had their typical lineup that weekend. This weekend they're playing with a spare, as third Ryan Weeb is not there with them this weekend.
So who's playing where this weekend, do you know?
Yep, so they all moved up a spot, and Adam M6, his last name escapes me, but Scott Mitchell throwing vice, and Nathan Steele throwing second for this lineup this weekend. Scott and Nathan played vice and second last year, so not a position they're not used to.
Yeah. So quite a few rocks in play here already in this game. We were, about 3 or 4 rocks in as we joined it. Gushue with hammer, as we said.
Yeah, and in a pretty good spot to sit 3 buried.
I don't know if he can get the double. If he can get to the well, he might be able to. I almost feel like he might be better off just taking a little off and hitting that yellow on the nose and making sure it stays right there.
Looks like if you throw a big enough weight, you can hit it right on the nose, eliminate both those yellows. I think in the first end, you're okay with giving up 2. You don't love it, but this rock is curling out.
This one might be on the guard, and it is. So the trouble continues for Sam Mooibroek squad.
Not an ideal start.
No. We did the A qualifier game though with Ryland Claytor, and Claytor dropped a 3 in the first end to Dunstone and ended up taking it right to an extra end.
Yeah, so I mean, 8 ends is a long time. Even the best teams in the world make mistakes and they get opportunities to score. With the 5 rock rule, that's the beauty part of it. It's certainly advantaged Gushue early.
It's a lot of thought going into a shot this early. Thanks, Jade. So 4 yellows to come. 3 reds and 4 yellows remaining in the sand, and Mark Nichols will be throwing his first here in the first.
Yeah, Mark wanting to freeze on this corner of the red rock in the top 12. If it does slide deep onto the center line, very much could leave a nose quad. If you leave it right on the center line in the 8 foot.
Yeah.
So you can't bounce on this corner freeze.
Not going to get quite that deep.
Good tolerance, though. We talked about last game. They got all 4 players got outplayed against team mapping, and I don't have the stat sheet in front of me, but it was pretty obvious just watching. And those are the tolerances that Team Gushue is missing. I know in the top level they don't have a ton of tolerance, and they normally don't miss a ton either. But last game that would have been in the 8 foot and left the quad. This time left it as a guard and was a pretty good tolerance.
Mooibroek looking to run the centerline guard into the pile, I would think, with the hopes of getting rid of at least a couple here. Scott
Can't
Mitchell.
afford a 0. Need this to curl a little bit.
Well, without that, not perfect with that one going out, but it's a lot better than it was a minute ago. At least to the point that he has a rock in a pretty decent place. If Brad decides to do something with it, it would open up the yellows to a pretty easy double and possibly a triple. So,
yeah, not the easiest red rock to eliminate either, with that yellow staying in the back 12.
no.
You need to hit it perfect for it to miss, or clip one of your own Yellowstones out and not jam. Is the other option, as Brad Gushue just pointed out.
See Botcher and Walker trading sides, and that's just because obviously Botcher has been a long-time skip, not quite the sweeper that Jeff Walker is at this point.
Yeah, you almost see every top team do that. Their strongest sweeper will stay on the inside of the rock for the most part. It just gives you that, even if that gives you a 5% advantage on making the shot, it goes a long way at this top level. This rock over curling.
Is it ever? He might be okay though. Gets it by there, not quite.
Could be the break Team Mooibroek needed.
Yeah, put it right behind the guard too. Just not been a good day for the Gushue team.
He had a good setup right until that shot right there. Scott made a pretty good run back, and Mark not taking advantage. Could have hit and sit 4 or 3 and ended up stuffing. As we all know, new lineups take a while to get used to, and there's a number of new lineups in the Canadian world.
Yeah.
and some clicking faster than others. But by Briar time, you can imagine all of the team changes. Teams will be ready to go after their chance to win a Briar. Sam trying to play the hit and roll to the back yellow one in the 12 foot. Really eliminates the yellow in the top 12 and the back 12 if this is made. All of a sudden, Gushue was going to look at 3 or 4, and now might have to draw 4 foot against 1 or 2.
A very aggressive roll. I would have thought just hit this and roll to the left in the overhead picture there. Roll into the 8 foot would be a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I mean both would be good. You just need to roll. It's basically anything but nose. You need to hit the rock too.
I think he's going to be okay. Might be really good actually if he gets a little more curl. Had to get a little bit more than that though. So it ended up not necessarily all that great. Certainly a angle raised double takeout here for.
Yeah, it looked like Nathan was sweeping quite hard there and held it too straight. Too good of a sweeper.
Yeah, we've talked a couple times about the rocks just not being super lively here. So even though you feel sometimes you hit half a rock, it should go somewhere. Quite often it only goes, half of that distance sort of thing. So they've been playing all weekend long though, so they should have a pretty good handle on that.
Yeah, and they're kind of switching opportunities. Gushue now settling in the hack, has an angle double to sit to probably 3 if this is made perfectly.
Brad slid a little inside the target line there, but got it on target coming out. This is going to be really close. Can he get it out? And he will get it out to be sitting 2. He didn't get it out far enough to be sitting 3, but it's not bad. Also behind the guard.
Pretty good outcome. There's no double available for Mooibroek. They either need to, they basically have to draw. No choice. Any of the hits might give them a double for 3. If you draw and stay anywhere in the 8 foot, it's weird to say, but you're forcing Team Gushue to 2.
Yeah.
You can't even corner freeze this and be shot rock because you'll set up the angle for a nose hit for 4. So you almost are just drawing to the face and giving Gushue a free draw to the 4 foot for 2.
Yeah. I still didn't like the last call. I didn't think that roll made a lot of sense compared to how it could have rolled the other way. But anyway, that's done. Sam Mooibroek with his last one here in the first end. Trying to avoid a big score by Gushue. Has a pretty good opportunity to limit the damage to 2 at the most.
Yeah, it needs full 8 foot. Can't bounce off too hard, or you will give them a double for 4. Sweeper's going at this pretty hard right now.
Yeah, got to get there. Not going to get there. So holy cow. An open hit for Brad Gushue to score 4 in the first end here.
Yeah, a lot of the fans at home will be happy about that. That center line maybe a little bit slower in the first end caught Sam off guard. Sure, he threw a couple of draws in practice, but obviously didn't win the hammer. But now a chance for Brad Gushue to hit and roll in and score their 4 points.
Brad Gushue, intern hit for a great start here in the C qualifier. See Jeff Walker on the other side now. Thinking they're more likely to have to keep this straight than they are make it curl. It looks fine. So Brad Gushue will get through this end with a score of 4 and a commanding 4-0 lead after just one end of play. here in the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown at the Swift Curling Club, and we will be back after the break.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Handcrafted in Canada. Join the revolution.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind from pre-seed to post-harvest. You can count on the Victory Canola program to keep you.
So we're back here, and a bit of an odd first end. Ended up with Gushue scoring 4, but he looked like he might get 3 or 4, and then it looked like Mooibroek had kind of escaped, but then gave it back by setting up a double and coming up short on a draw. So massive start for Team Gushue here in the C qualifier, and they probably could use it after having a rough outing in the previous game.
Yeah, I mean, there's still 7 ends to play, and obviously we've all seen comebacks at this magnitude before, and Team Gushue obviously not firing at all cylinders today, so wouldn't give up on Team Mooibroek yet.
No, definitely not, no. So corner guard went up. Now second corner guard's going to go up on the same side. Just say hello to everybody that's watching. We have a pretty good crowd already in this game, and looking at some of the names, it's kind of interesting. I thought I was pretty familiar with most of the names from town names in Newfoundland. My wife's from Newfoundland, and I've never heard of Plum Point. So welcome to Eliza Gibbons in Plum Point, Newfoundland.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Yeah, and a former Newfoundlander, Tyler Murray, is watching from New Zealand. I don't know what time it would be in New Zealand, but probably be late tomorrow or something.
Yes, or really early, something like that. I don't even know. Total guess.
Yeah.
My mistake. Adam is throwing the second stone, so Nathan stayed at lead. He's been lead all year. Adam moves up to second while he's sparing this weekend.
Yeah, somebody on here says Adam won the Canadian Mixed Championship last year, but they haven't given us the last name either. So
this year, yeah, he did.
Okay.
I'll do some investigating and find out.
All right.
But anyways, perfect setup so far by both teams. Nathan set up the 2 corner guards pretty much perfectly. Adam trying to make some noise in the back. Those are rocks in the rings. Didn't quite make it yet.
So Adam must be playing second then. Mm-hmm. And Nathan Steele must be playing lead.
That's correct, yes.
So guard going back up for Botcher. It's tough when you play as many games as Mooibroek has played, too. When you drop a big end at the start of this game, it's hard to kind of stay up and at it and ready and all of that kind of stuff when you're playing one of the best teams in the world as well. So I'm going to play another peel, try to get more than one here.
Yeah, it's not an awesome feeling throwing runbacks when you're down 4.
No.
But they still have an opportunity if Adam can make some noise. Love to make contact with at least one of the stones in the rings. Gets them both moving, though doesn't eliminate either of them.
No, but that's a start. At least he's got them where it's going to be a little more difficult for Gushue to decide what to do here. Mark's coming down. He actually called Mark down here to talk about what they want to play.
Yeah, it's decision time. That double peel kind of goes right into the yellow in the 8-foot almost.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's they're concerned that if they try the double peel, that they end up leaving the red in play somewhere.
With this new lineup, my curiosity was always going to be whether Brandon Botcher chimed in with strategy or not. Obviously, Brad Gushue would have a ton of respect for him winning a Brier. Obviously, at Skip knowing the strategy quite well, but him and Mark Nichols go all the way back to teenagers.
Yeah, I think there'll be a time and a place for Brendan to have some input, and Mark's pretty laid back. He's not going to bother him too much, but so here comes the peel anyway for
11:23 p.m.
Oh, for God's sakes.
So they're thinking the Angles will miss the yellow in the rings. If they get rid of these 2 corner guards, there will be nowhere for Mooibroek to hide. It doesn't miss the yellow, but it doesn't stick around, so mission accomplished for Mark.
Yeah, I think that was the best plan anyways, even if it did hit and stay. It's, worst case scenario, you're looking at maybe a 2 points by the time you're done, as long as it didn't go behind some of the guards somewhere. But so Mooibroek looking to come around the rock in the top of the 12-foot now.
Yeah, that rock in the top of the 12-foot is a better corner guard than the 1 guard. So
yeah. Very nice shot. Scott Mitchell. Gushue now will ask Mark Nichols to come down and remove that stone. We know they curl quite hard to the outside on virtually every sheet that we've seen, so I'm sure this one will be the same. And lots of room there for Nichols to make this. Walker's on it a little bit early.
Yeah, we saw Team Epping make a lot of these backline hack weight hits to the wings. Brad Gushue's turn, and Mark Nichols doesn't make a mistake.
Good shot. Mooibroek asking Mitchell to go back in there again.
Yeah, I mean, you're down 4. It's only the second, but yeah, really is no other option. You're sitting 3. You're not going to get a blank end out of this.
No. So Mitchell with Nathan and Adam on the brooms. Be a little bit heavy, but Needs to bury. No matter where he has to take it to get it to bury.
Yeah, did a bit better of a job. Though it's back 12, it's more buried. They probably still could chase it with back line, but Gushue might want to play the run back. He's been throwing a lot of high, hard ones so far out of his force. Out of his 2 stones he's thrown, they were both pretty up-weight hits.
Yeah, pretty much on the nose to make this.
Yeah, you almost don't want to leave your shooter right there. If you leave it there, you'll leave a corner freeze for Mooibroek, and it'll be impossible to eliminate the red stone. You almost want to just make the run back and roll out. Don't overcomplicate when you're up 4.
Brad Gushue. First rock here in the second end. Looking for a run back on his yellow. Remove the Mooibroek stone at the back. He's going to make it. Just a matter of whether or not he's going to roll out, and it will.
Yeah, did exactly what I wanted them to do. Rolled it a little closer to the center line. Sam Mooibroek can bury full back 8 foot. Doesn't really want to be shot rock, but second shot stone.
So Mooibroek doesn't have much from his first shot to judge draw weight, so the guys will have to help him out a little bit here, trying to come up with a number that works for him. He's several feet short of the house on the first rock and the last rock in the first end. Well, certainly no panic early for sweepers, so it's just would suggest it's certainly there. Needs it to stop. It looks like it'll hang on. Okay. We should probably just follow that. Second rock in that position that Sam Mooibroek can't really make a double. Forces him to 1. Job done.
Yeah, I like the top 8 here. I think either top 8 on either side would do. You basically leave no double and get a force here in the second end.
So you have a former teammate watching from home or Dublin, Ontario, wherever that is.
Yeah, that's you don't need to acknowledge him. But no. Yeah, former teammate watching in Dublin, Ontario, very small town in the middle of nowhere. Chance for Gushue to, I mean, it's not a shot for the win because it's only the second end, but if you don't leave Team Mooibroek a double, you're going to be up 3 with.
It's a little bit heavy. Wow. Quite heavy. Brad Gushue. I don't know if I've seen him miss draws like that very often. And just a simple hit for 2 now for Sam Mooibroek.
Yeah, this is, I wouldn't say a door opening, but a window just cracked for Team Mooibroek.
Oh, yeah.
Chance to make it a 2-point game.
Well, especially given that you really didn't expect to have this shot for 2. Now all of a sudden, chance for 2. Make you feel pretty good. You're back in the game somewhat, and a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. That's good. Needs to stay on this, though.
Yep, last rock here in the second, looking to hit and stick and stay in the 8 foot.
Just holding it straight here. He's going to be fine. Good throw by Sam. Mooibroek will pick up 2 here in the second end. Still trails Gushue, but he's halfway back. It trails 4-2 after 2 here in Swift Current. We'll be back after the break.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
Hey, Ben.
So we're back for end number 3 in our C qualifying game between Sam Mooibroek and Brad Gushue. Gushue with I don't know, just a certain misstep, definite misstep on his last draw. Uncharacteristic miss. Threw a draw pretty much through the house to give Mooibroek an open hit for 2. Mooibroek took advantage of that, and I suspect that's got to make them feel just a little bit better. Sam?
Yeah, I mean, they've obviously dug themselves a little bit of a hole here early, but that certainly helps the momentum slowly shift towards them. If they could ever get a force and take another 2, then it's only a 1-point game.
Yeah.
It's not hard math. If you take two with hammer and force every time you don't, you'd be winning the game by the end of it.
Yeah, you'd win 8-7.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he has a chance to get back to be down within 1 point at the break, which would be pretty good. But first of all, he has to try to hold Gushue to only 1 this time and make sure that he doesn't have a big score. Big score when you're down 2 is only probably 2, so Mooibroek will play the freeze here.
Yeah, Nathan not making his center guards the way he wanted to, so there is a stagger, a pretty easy double peel if needed.
We got Adam McCachran now.
Yeah, chance to freeze the pocket here. Really coming towards that center guard.
That's going hard. Got to get a bye. I think you need a bye. Can. Good sweeping.
Yeah, great sweeping from Nathan Steele.
Nice throw.
Gushue still sitting 2. Yeah,
Gushue not going to fool around too much here. Get rid of this center guard and pretty much forced Sam to put it back up a few times and see what happens from there.
A pretty easy peel by Brennan Botcher. Update you on our other scores. Team Cooey up 3-2 over Daniel Casper. Daniel Casper is hammer in the third. Brent Pierce up 1-0 over Kelly Knapp. And obviously our game on the men's side. And on the women's side, Team Inglot, 2 steal of 1 to be up 2-0 over Xana Schwaller after 2 ends. And that is our women's final. All of these games are streamed on Curling Stadium and on Curling Zone on YouTube.
So Garrett goes back up. Good spot. And another good peel for Brendan Botcher. Mooibroek go back up again. Will come a time when he has to do something different than this, but for him it's not yet.
Yeah, I think at least 2 more center guards. Or at least 1, but most likely 2. Just to update you guys of who are the teams are that have already qualified. Team Dunstone and Team McEwen qualified through the A this morning. For playoffs, Team Epping, Team Kleider, and Team Jacobs all qualified through the B. So already very competitive 5 teams in the playoffs. Waiting to see who the other 3 are tonight.
So Gushue also contemplating what to do here. He knows Mooibroek's going to have to make some kind of a move here at some point as well.
Yeah, up 2 with hammer. You don't need to overcomplicate anything, I don't think.
So the interim peel for Mark Nichols.
Sweeper's haven't touched this one, but he made it by himself.
So Mooibroek's going to maybe think about putting a rock right there. He thought about it on the last shot. Looks like he is actually going to play it this time.
Yeah, it sucks because you're giving one of the best hitters in the world a chance to get rid of every rock in play if you don't make it perfect. They called Mark Nichols Bam Bam for a reason.
Yeah, it was quite commonly known by that name back many years ago, but I don't hear it as much anymore.
Yeah, no longer the 20-year-old that throws 6-second peels when no one else could.
So the outturn freeze coming in here for Mooibroek. Looks pretty good.
It's pretty perfect.
Gushue's sitting 2, but recognizing there's a little bit of danger there with the red stones.
You know, the almost made it too good. Gushue should be able to hammer the red on the right side in the top 8 and eliminate at least 1 red stone. He will eliminate one of his yellow stones as well, but they'll be in a better spot.
Looks like Gushue thinks that this red one may kind of find its way through those and straight back.
Oof, not with that release. A little outward motion by Mark. Oh, eliminates one red, not the way he intended to, but still an okay outcome.
Yeah, Mooibroek will hit and sit too, but it's pretty open. Guard is pretty long, so rolling behind it isn't necessarily going to be impossible to be removed, but could make it quite difficult at least.
Certainly puts some pressure on Team Gushue, though. He's looking at 2 rocks, one buried on top of a 4-foot. When you're up 2, that's probably the last thing you wanted to see.
Yeah.
But you're right, it is very high, and center guard, they'll be able to play hack weight around it and move things around, even if this is made perfectly.
Sam Mooibroek with the outturn hit.
Probably his favorite shot in curling.
Going across the top. The curl a little more yet, probably. A good try. Need to roll a little bit further. You can see by that he only hit half the stone and still only rolled a couple of feet. So it's just a little bit slow as far as the reaction of the rocks. So Gushue now with a pretty much wide open hit. Probably make the double with something even down weight a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he'll be able to eliminate both. They'll have to get pretty close to that red center guard. With control weight, it's definitely makeable, though. Got to be careful. Mark stayed really straight here with Peel.
Yeah, looking for about a foot of curl. A little more, maybe.
Chance to make his next shot a lot easier. Anything but wide here will be good. Not a lot of weight, obviously. Botcher now going to try to carve it over. Needs to get going. Needs to get a little more. A little more. It should be maybe a little too far. Yeah, they must have never been playing the double. I think they're trying to hit and roll.
Yeah. But if he hit and roll, he would have been definitely not shot. So I don't know if that would have been a great thing. But regardless, Mooibroek trying to play the exact same shot.
Yeah, a chance to put a decent amount of pressure on Gushue. Makes the hit and roll perfect. Gushue will have to draw to the 4-foot against 2. You can feel the momentum shifting just a little bit.
Well, it might go shift a lot if Gushue isn't able to make this, but he would make a draw to the 4-foot 19 out of 20 times, but 1 out of 20 has to happen sometimes. So Gushue with the outturn draw. Watcher closest to the stone. Just a heavy, clean action. See a lot now.
Yeah, the sweepers are heads down right now.
This is going to be light.
Mooibroek is light in the exact same path in the first end.
Wow. Well, it's just hard to believe what's happening here in these two ends. To be honest, I've never seen Brad miss so many draws in all the years I've watched him play. But he just missed this one. Mooibroek will steal 2 here in the third end to tie this up at 4 after 3 ends of play.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Saskatchewan, you know Sasktel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With Sasktel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. Sasktel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sasktel.com/sponsorships.
So we're back here for end number 4 in what has now a tie ball game. Just hard to believe, but it's happened. Gushue's missed a couple of draws by a whole lot. And we just had a rock moved off the center line. The Gushue team moved that red one off the center line, so it had to be replaced, and Mooibroek will go around it. So strange chain of events here, Sam.
Yeah, an absolute huge shift in momentum in the last 2 ends. Gushue went from drawing the top 8 to forcing. They would have forced them in the second end and been up by 3 with hammer going into third to now it's tied 4-4.
Yeah,
big change.
Wild and crazy. Jeff Walker now being asked to play the outturn draw to the one in the house. Sit right on it.
No mistake.
And think about it with the Gushue squad, they have probably as much experience as anybody in this event and in many events with their lineup, and I don't think it'll rattle them too much.
I mean, not at yeah. I mean, what hasn't Brad Gushue seen? He's given up 4-point leads more than once. Not saying he's done it a lot, or he wouldn't be where he is, but. Even when they gave up 2, there was no broom slam. That didn't look like too much frustration out of the Gushue camp. They kind of just looked like they were adjusting for this next end.
A pretty nice draw there. Adam McCachran? We're not sure. Just going to go with Adam for now, I think.
It's probably the easiest way.
So Brendan Botcher now be playing a peel here. Peel or run back. I'm not sure which one Brad's going to try, but
I think they're trying to move 3 stones off the center line here if it's made perfectly. Disaster.
Well, got the wrong one.
Yeah, they absolutely did.
Another
replay. Yeah, they're coming down center line with Peel weight. You're missing the shot literally by a centimeter. And picked your own out. It's the difference in the game.
Yeah, that's definitely some bad luck for sure. So Adam's second stone here.
Yeah, an opportunity for Team Mooibroek to keep the pressure on Gushue. They could be sitting 2 buried on the center line after this. Pretty much perfect guard. I don't think they can run that red in. They could make the double thin and it could chase into the center line. Could move a lot of granite here.
Yeah, I don't
can't miss wide.
I don't really know why Brad would play the shot this way. It seems like, I don't know why he just wouldn't hit the yellow on the outside. He's basically trying to clip the yellow and then hit the red. I guess he's trying to maybe get something more out of the rocks in the house than. And I guess that's why. Great shot by Brendan Botcher.
Yeah, it was almost queued up. Obviously, as long as you don't miss a foot wide, which I don't know when the last time Brendan Botcher did that.
Well, even if he hits 3 inches more of that rock, he doesn't get that run back on the red the way he got that one. So it would take a lot of the speed off. It wouldn't be hard for us for that to take all those rocks out, but it did. So that's good. Guard going back up from Mooibroek.
Yeah, Gushue really trying to stop the Mooibroek momentum right now.
Yeah.
But Mooibroek trying to throw a 2 guard above the rock in the rings. You'll probably see Gushue ignore it and draw a top 4 foot. This is the 4th end. I don't think they would want to blank.
Hard on this to get over, and they managed to get it over the line and over to the center, and it's a pretty good guard. Gushue may choose to ignore it, but looking at hack weight shot.
Yeah, deciding to play the hack weight, hit and roll. Make this, you're in a pretty good position to blank this end.
Watcher getting ready to try to curve this one over. I don't know if he's going to get there. He will touch it, but no, he will not even touch it. So the struggles continue for Team Gushue. Just so odd to see to me. It's just.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret they're clearly missing more than they normally do this weekend, but again, it does take some time to adjust to new lineups. You won't be able to give them that excuse by the Briar time, but best women's team in the world right now, Team Holman, took a year to figure out their new lineup. And they, like everyone knows, they added Tracy Fleury at the vice position and took pretty much a whole year. They did win a couple times, but not nearly as much as their dominance right now. So it just could take Brad a little bit longer to adjust their lineup.
Scott Mitchell's throwing this one well back into the ranks. Pretty much forced the draw now. Mark Nichols needs to make a good one.
Yeah, missed opportunity. You know, you always want to make after a miss, and probably why you see a little bit of frustration from Scott. You put that in the top four buried, you're putting Gushue in a lot of pressure. Now Gushue gets to try to do that to you. Mark's goal here.
This looks pretty good. Sneak it by the guard. Very nicely done by Mark Nichols. Fairly tough for Mooibroek to remove it. And he might not try.
Yeah, you don't really want to just concede too. Not playing the corner freeze. I guess you're setting up for your last thrown stone. But you make this, it'll be a decision time for Gushue. Do you draw the edge of the button and sit two, or guard the slash? Not 100% sure.
So tough little shot for Sam Mooibroek. Trying to freeze on the corner of the yellow. He does this, makes this well. He could force Gushue to deal with it. Looks a little bit on the heavy side, maybe. Coming down, no.
Just trying to slow down, and it does in time. It does bounce a little bit. Gushue might be able to get to the inside of that if he wanted to. He probably could. Yeah, an interesting situation here. I do think you need to make the hit and roll under because that red is too usable, but you could draw the edge of the forefoot right where Brendan Botcher's boom was.
Yeah, despite the fact that I'm sure that Brad Gushue never lacks for confidence, right now having to draw the edge of the forefoot or the edge of the button or something may not sound like the best idea. So I'm not sure what they decided on here.
Yeah, this looks like guard ice.
Great guard.
Like, yeah.
Wow, I would not have expected that. Not that it's terrible, but and I don't think Mooibroek would ever take a run at it, but if he ever did play a run in there, he could be sitting three behind your guards.
Yeah, it would take a very good shot, but he very well could do that. Sam also could draw the edge of the button on the other side, and Gushue would have a pretty hard two. Might be able to only have to play a pick for one. We'll find out what Sam decides.
So Brad Gushue looking for halfway down to the house guard here. It's going to be good. Good spot.
Yeah, pretty good. And both Sam and Scott started talking right away. I do think the draw's the call. If you get it a quarter buried top forefoot or top button, Gushue would have a pretty much impossible hit and stay into the forefoot for 2 because of that red biting the forefoot on the other side.
And if you ever come up right where his broom is, which basically would be a corner freeze on the other side of this yellow, it would be very difficult for Brad to score 2 anyways. Didn't have a lot of room to work with.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think a perfect spot would be biting the top button and a quarter buried if you could ever corkscrew it around the rock in the top 4. Certainly a chance to force Gushue, which is a pretty good spot, only being down 1 width going into 5.
So Mooibroek with the in-turn. One thing you don't want to do on this shot is be heavy. If you don't do anything else, at least confuse the issue a little bit as far as Gushue is concerned to get 2. Guys are working pretty hard and they're not going to get there.
Yeah, not even close, which is like, are the 2 sides of the sheet that much different?
Yeah, I don't know. It's been odd to see so many draws that have come up for both teams now so short. Like I said earlier in this event, a number of times that I've watched people play the out turn, come around corner guards kind of thing, and outside in, and they've had no issues with the weight. It's just a matter of getting the ice right. And so I find it really odd that it could be the result is that. But Gushue's got now a lot more of the area to draw to, the 4 foot to draw to, than I thought he was going to have.
Yeah, a chance to hit the full 4 foot for their 2 points. Let's see if Brad Gushue can figure out this side of the sheet, as both skips have came up light in this path.
So it's on sway. Swift Walker. Broom down, ready to go. And looking heavy. Looking really heavy. So Brad Gushue still struggling to find the draw weight. Does pick up 1 point. And we'll take a 5-4 lead to the break here at the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown in Swift Current, Saskatchewan. We're at the Swift Current Curling Club, and we will take a short break and be back for the 5th end.
Hey, Ben, what's the Aztec safe?
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
So halfway done here, Gushue with a 5-4 lead. Mooibroek with hammer. And in a situation where Gushue started with a 4-0 lead after one end, Mooibroek's got to be just about ecstatic with his position here. Especially with hammer. I thought he might be able to claw back to 5-4 without hammer, but a lot of things have gone well, and Gushue's squad's still struggling a little bit to make some of what are the basic shots for these guys. It's a better end, except they just missed the last draw.
Yeah, I mean, it does prove that even the pros have bad days. It's just they started off with that 4 after probably their best end of the day, and just have really hasn't made a lot of shots since.
That's a nice shot.
It was a fantastic sweep from Scott Mitchell. Not often do you carve a rock for 3/4 of a sheet.
No. So Gushue follow that in.
Yep, just put it right on top of the Mooibroek's red stone. Trying to leave an angle where it isn't an easy double.
And nice shot by Botcher here. Well, some good draw weight by those players. Both teams.
Yeah, and a good angle. There's not an easy yellow double right now. Decision time for Team Mooibroek. You don't want to get forced. You really want to score multiple or blank, and that this rock right here would have been the decider if they wanted to blank or not. So if they're going to blank, they would have tried to peel that center guard.
So another draw in here for Adam McEachern.
Yep, trying to corner freeze, trying to not line the reds to easily go. It's a pretty good shot.
Yeah, the angles are kind of interesting. It's the middle yellow red. I don't know if it picks up the yellow off the button or not. It would if you were coming from one side, I guess.
Yeah, right now, I don't think Gushue's going to be the team that wants to blow the center line up.
No.
The angles are pretty good for them. It's going to be hard for Mooibroek to score right now, let alone score multiple.
Looks like Gushue's going to play the double on the reds from this intern side.
Yeah, up 1 without. You don't really want to let the reds just accumulate in the house, even though the angles are pretty good. Looks like a pretty narrow slide from Brendan.
Yeah, got to get it by. It's going to be by. Well swept. Actually got by too much.
It was going to be pretty hard to make the double. He would have had to basically go through the center guard. But as you said, yeah, Jeff Walker, too good of a sweeper. I do like the peel call here from Team Mooibroek.
Yeah, just going to open this up. And McEachern's second shot here in the fifth. Pretty gentle looking peel. Maybe trying to save a corner or something. It's going to run back into the
trying to roll to a corner guard and not really mission accomplished. They're really just taking away a draw path at that. Unfortunately for Adam, didn't curl up quite enough.
Yeah, a straight peel there probably would have been a better option, to be honest, I think.
A little bit of a misstep.
Mark Nichols now. Putting the guard back, basically. Just going to try to move it over a little bit. Brad's pretty happy with where it is. Straight from that, pretty good line.
Yeah, Mooibroek needs to get at that yellow on the top button.
Just trying to consider all the options here. He hasn't got a clear sailing exactly. He just can't go in and hammer something.
Yeah, pretty hard to know what the best outcome is. You need to get a couple different angles at that yellow stone. In my mind, you need to make a run back.
Scott Mitchell now being asked to run the yellow guard.
Oh, pretty unlucky. They were sweeping that the whole way. Or they were off and on it the whole way. I needed to curl a centimeter. It was obviously 20-foot run back's not the easiest shots in the game.
No. So Gushue looking at throwing the guard up. Somewhere in the hole between those two rocks. Probably right on the delta would be not bad. A little bit higher in the delta would be okay.
Yeah, keep the pressure on Team Mooibroek. Right now, Gushue is set up for a steal. Needs to get this over the hog line.
Yeah, that'd be plan A. It's over. Gonna get a little rub, maybe. Maybe not.
It's going to leave a little bit of a hole. Still not good angles from Team Mooibroek.
Yeah, that's the problem. Getting through the hole is one thing, but do you actually get anything out of it when you get to the rocks in the house?
Guess you could throw back line and hopefully only tap your red one to the top of the button. It's still hard to get through that hole with that weight, though.
Yeah, you have to throw it harder than that to Scott Mitchell now play the peel on the top ones. Try to get them both going. Be a very, very amazing shot, actually. Thinking the back one.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, the problem is if you ever touch the top one, you're probably coming from that side. There's no drag going to help you, so you're going to give up a couple.
Yeah, just as I said, if you miss a little bit wide, you'll probably give up a few.
Gushue needing to get this guard in the right spot. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, and it's pretty late in the end for Mooibroek to make a run back that will actually help them. So I don't think that yellow that's on the button will ever move. It might drag if you hit it just off nose. So actually you could move all three off the center line.
Yeah. You might not get them all out, but at least you'd have a spot to score.
Pretty big shot for Sam Mooibroek. He does love his out turn down the center line.
So just cleaning, going a little bit now. It's going to be close. Not quite, though. Had to come up a little bit more. Going to be a really big challenge now for Mooibroek to score here. Gushue's probably thinking whether or not there's some way that he could manage to get more than one here.
No, I don't think so. I just think he's looking at Team Mooibroek's options. Right now, Team Mooibroek has the just off nose run back that I said a couple of spots ago. And now they have an angle run that they might be able to score one from as well. Or you throw it away, give them their steal of one, and have hammer down 2 and 6. Then the game's not over. Team Gushue really talking about this. They're really worried about these angle runs. Trying to see where they can set up a steal of 3, maybe if Team Mooibroek decides to take on the risk of the run back.
Yeah, that was
a perfect freeze. That's what they're going to try and do.
Yeah, that was kind of my point when I was trying to set up a way that he might end up getting more than one. He puts it in a place that Sam gets a little too aggressive on. Something could turn into a bigger score than one, but you're right. I think that for Mooibroek, he might be forced with just throwing one away here.
Yeah, a steal of 1 isn't the end of the game.
No, and I don't think he can get close enough to the yellow to get on his red to take their yellow out. I don't think that's there.
I think if you hit as thick as you can see, you can probably make it, but it is very difficult. You're probably going to see the angle run on the corner red just in front of the S3 logo.
On that side, yeah.
It's probably the safest shot for Mooibroek if he's trying to score.
Well, let's see where he puts this one first. Might change the decision regardless.
This would be a momentum booster for Brad Gushue himself, missing a couple of draws the last 2 times he's thrown them. This one coming up about 2 feet light. And the angle run could be for 2. And really no risk. It'd be pretty unlucky to pick your own out and give up 3. Doable, but unlucky. For this angle run, you're almost missing the flash out at this point because you might as well give it a go.
If he hits this, if it ends up hitting the yellow at the top of the 4-foot and not the red, you think it'll drag into the other and okay? So
I do. I think there's a world that Mooibroek scores 2 here. Doesn't happen often, but I do think that's an option.
Yeah.
Last rock here in 5.
Gonna curl up too much. A lot of curl out there for that much weight. Brad Gushue is still 1 point here in end number 5. We'll take a 6-4 lead to the 6th when we return to Swift Current, Saskatchewan.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Handcrafted in Canada. Join the revolution.
So a big steal of 1 in end number 5 has Brad Gushue up 6-4 now on Sam Mooibroek. Certainly an end now that Mooibroek would like to get a couple. If you can get a couple here in 6, you kind of establish the right mix of hammer, no hammer heading to the 8th. Just a question of how hard you go, I guess, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, you have two hammers to Gushue's 1, as you just said, and you take 2 4s to 1 and 7 and take 2 and 8, you win the game. So the math is easy. It's the execution that's the hard part.
For sure. Good shot by Jeff Walker there. Doesn't slide in. It's curled a little bit at the end, but it's fine. Mooibroek going up with another corner.
Yeah, an opportunity to score 2 or 3 here with Gushue not firing on all cylinders yet, anyways.
True enough. Right, deciding whether to throw a guard here or come around the corner and take that away a little bit.
I like the high center guard. I know you're up 2, but if you throw this high center, you'll probably see Team Mooibroek having to chase.
So Brandon Botcher settling in as the call. It's a little bit of curl. Nichols and Walker now both working on the same side to get it over there. Pretty good job. Mooibroek looking for a little hit and roll in behind the corner guards. I need a little bit of spin on this one to get it in there, I think, but just even over in that direction is good.
Yeah, if you could hit about a quarter rock with board weight, it'd be really close to rolling behind your corners and into the rings.
Very nicely done.
That's pretty much perfect.
Yeah, really good shot. That's where the double corners came in handy, because now it's a little harder for Gushue to deal with them over there. Gushue throwing another guard up, looks like. Oh, he's still talking, I guess.
Yeah, it's a decision time. You're up 2. It feels weird. You're basically guarding, and if you miss a guard, even by the slightest margins, you're going to give up 2.
Watcher just threw the shot, so he should be close. That works out pretty good. Mooibroek having a look at the thin double on the yellows. Definitely there. He's going to play looks like just a draw to the yellow. Freeze to the yellow.
Yeah, that thin double, a little too risky, and you probably spin into the open and might even leave a double.
Yeah, I think it's a little early to think about that shot. Might something you look at later, but McKechnie. He used to curl a lot.
Probably trying to play a wick off this rock in the top 12 since it's a little heavy. Just like that.
Yeah. And a little delicate for Gushue here. Has shot rock, but red's number 2 and number 3. There's no real great options here. Watcher's going to give an opinion.
Yeah, Mooibroek kind of starting to set up to score 3.
Looking hard at the outside bump. So it looks like that's going to be the call. Just a little raise. See what turn he's throwing here. Not sure yet. Just trying to bump that into the T line, basically, edge of the button with the out turn. Probably don't have a great idea how much see he's going to do out here, but
it's a little bit of a guess, but they would have just watched Team Mooibroek's rock down this path.
Just from a distance, looks like it might have already be curling too much. I can't really see though. A little too much curl, a little too much weight. Number 3 now, which might be important.
Might come into play, but definitely advantage Team Mooibroek right now. If you can make this thin double, you're sitting 1st, 3rd, and 4th after you're done.
Yeah.
And like we said at the beginning of the end, they only really need to score 2.
Tough little shot here. Mitchell looking at, I don't know if he's looking at trying to rub that or whether or not he's just looking at coming through the hole there. I don't think he'd play the rub on purpose. Maybe he's just trying to get rid of that yellow rock and roll another one in. We'll see here.
Yeah, big. This is a big shot. Just wick off that yellow. Sit 1st, 3rd, 4th.
I don't think he really would have to, would he? Does it not look like he could actually just go through the port? Maybe not.
The wick gives you a little bit better angle, though. This rock is curling on them.
Might get both yellows. Oops, hit the other blue or other red. Well, that moved a lot of rocks for a shot that wasn't really made. Took a few reds out of the picture for Gushue as well. I think the other thing with Gushue here is that I think they've just struggled enough overall that seems to be doing a lot of questioning of his calls, more than normal. Lots of times he checks down with Mark or whatever, but it just seems to be.
Well, on a day that your team has struggled in front of you, more communication is better.
So it looks like they decided. We'll have to wait a second to see what that decision is.
Yeah, I think coming down and freezing on the corner of the stone is my guess.
Yeah, a little bit on the inside corner. Maybe. Mark Nichols with his final one here in end number 6. I think he's going to get all the way to the red, but that's not bad. I think he got enough curl that it'd be very difficult for Mooibroek to get to his own red now.
Yeah, checking to see if they're third shot or not. I think they are.
I believe they are as well.
Now trying to figure out how they're going to score multiple. Not seeing a lot of great options here, Sam. Are you? No.
Everything I look at doesn't
you can
seem
in off the red, as what Sam Mooibroek just said.
off of that red on the underneath S3 there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could
It's tough.
corner freeze, or you could angle run. Is basically your 3 options on Vice's last.
Looks like they settle on the angle freeze to the yellow.
Gives you more options going into skip stones, I think.
Yeah, I think that you're better off not playing the angle run, for example, right now, just because you might need that rock. After you try it now and don't make it, you may not have anything at all for the next shot. Of course, you'd have maybe have the in off the other one. I don't know. Anyway, let's see where this one ends up. Trying to just freeze to the yellow. Ooh, no, he didn't get by. That was not probably going to help too much.
Yeah, not the best outcome for Scott there. Now it's Team Gushue's time. It's time to decide what shots Mooibroek has.
Well, you kind of forget about, because in the overhead we don't always see up far enough, and it's just the way it is. Can't help it. But it's so when you're looking at it, sometimes I'm looking at it and I realize, well, you could play this, could play that, but then maybe not once you can see the rocks that are out front. We got the whole team discussion going again.
This could be the longest end of our weekend.
Well, I'll tell you, there's been some long games. That's if there was a complaint at all for this thing, I would say it's just and typical of Bondsvilles with no clocks naturally and a lot of money on the line and all that kind of stuff. But there's been a lot of long games. I've had a couple games that they quit early, and they quit early after 6 ends in the end, and we're already at 2 hours and plus sometimes it's and some long ones. When are we here? We're probably we're maybe a few minutes late starting, but I don't think a lot late. Almost quarter to 1 or quarter to 12.
If this goes 8 ends, it'll be pretty close to 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
if you're deciding to play the hit and roll into the rings, I assume.
Yeah. If he was to hit this and only roll halfway to behind the corner, it might leave Mooibroek a raised hit on this to get out of trouble. Anyway, we'll see. Jeff Walker, a little bit of roll. Uh-oh.
Oh, no. I think it just rolled to the worst spot.
Yeah, definitely a double option for Mooibroek. At least I think we'll see it on the long shot here. Yeah, definitely there.
Right on the nose. They don't need to throw it super hard, but it looks like they're going to.
Yeah. Well, if you get a possible triple here as well, which would give him shot rock if he makes a triple. Right now he wouldn't have, just making the double, he doesn't have shot rock. Mooibroek come with a little bit of heat here.
Yeah, this needs to curl.
Yeah. Going there trying to make it go now. And he looks pretty good. He does hit the other yellow one. It doesn't remove it.
It looks like red is second shot in the top 8 foot.
Looks like Mooibroek's second shot, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just making sure I was. Yeah, I think you might be right, but where do you go if you're Gushue? Come right around.
Anywhere where you don't leave a double in your second shot.
It's not real easy to get that yellow out right now. Well, they decided. Much shorter discussion this time.
Yeah, well, like you said, it's not right now. Mooibroek, I don't even think has a hit for 2 because that just jams all day. The in-off, I guess, would be the hit for 2 off the red.
So Gushue's going to play the out turn, come around here, try to get this probably somewhere, well, buried would be nice, but as long as you're on the tee line there, you're probably going to be out of trouble. But if you can bury this, you're going to have full 4 foot, maybe force Sam Mooibroek to play the draw. He'll try to find something else other than that, I think, because he probably doesn't want to just get one.
Yeah, he's going to look at all his options before he just draws the 4 foot. Now Gushue's been off on his draws.
Yeah, he hasn't made much for draws, so.
And this is a brand new path. This is going to be this is probably his toughest draw of the game.
Looks like the weight's okay.
Pretty bold early call when all 3 of them started sweeping it.
Yeah. Now, good shot by Gushue there. Like I say, especially given that he's been struggling, it's not like Brad's confidence is going to lose. He's going to lose his confidence, but no matter how good you are, you got to be starting to wonder a little bit when you're missing 2 or 3 draws by as much as he's missed them, but it hasn't been just coming up a foot short or a foot long. It's been like numbers of feet. So Sam Mooibroek now with a draw for 1 here in end number 6 needs to make this one.
Yeah, needs full 4, and this is the exact path that both skips have come up way late in. So let's see if Sam Mooibroek can figure this path out. Put this right on the pin.
The line looks okay. Gotta go.
Yeah, they didn't look panicked early, but they're heads down sweeping now.
They gotta go. They're not gonna get there. Wow, and the big steal of 2 for sure.
Yeah, I think it is only 2.
Yeah.
Maybe Gushue not convinced. Our overhead camera makes it look pretty obviously red, but
one final look for Mark Nichols. Mark may think it's yellow.
The eyes.
Everybody's gonna look at it now.
The eye's getting a little older, I think.
So we'll hang on here till they measure these.
Brennan Botcher pointed at the red.
Did he?
Yeah, he said it's pretty obviously red.
Okay. So Gushue with a steal of 2 will regain his 4-point lead that he had after 1 end of play and have a pretty commanding lead as we go to the 7th end here at the RBC Dominion Securities Western Showdown C qualifying game here at the Swift Current Curling Club. We'll be back right after the break.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like 1 more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Hey, Ben, what's the odds?
We're back for end number 7 here. Mooibroek giving up a steal of 2 and 6. Now trails Gushue 8-4. Has been a back and forth kind of game. Bit odd for sure.
Yeah, a very weird game. Both teams taking advantages of misses in the first half. Now Gushue gets that 4-point lead back here in the 7th end.
Gushue looking to put another one in the 8-foot in front of the yellows. Okay, 12 foot.
Yeah, corner guard's not exactly in the perfect spot after Nathan steals first two here. One quite high. Obviously, they've curled a lot of games this weekend, this being their 7th. Probably pretty tired.
It's a good shot there by Botcher. Yeah, it mentally gets tough too. It's there's obviously the physical component, the toll it takes with this many games over a fairly short period of time. And these guys started just Friday morning. The 7th game. And just when you start to struggle a little bit, it affects you mentally too. You just don't think quite as clearly and evenly as you need to. But need to find a way to get 3 here.
Yeah, 3's a must. I mean, they have stolen 2 once this game already, but big sweep to try and make this tap and roll.
Just not really quite enough weight on that.
Yeah, I think they wanted to cross the face a little bit more.
So Gushue going to play the high one. And with the hope of maybe picking up the other one as well on the opposite side.
Even though it feels like Gushue has a stranglehold on this game, they would love to finish it out in 7 here. 1, they get 20 more minutes of sleep.
Yeah.
But 2, that means they made all 8 of their stones. And as I'm saying that, we have a little bit of a miss from Brennan Botcher.
Yeah, kind of hit it ultra thin. See it here again.
Yeah, sweeping the whole way, Mark Nichols just wicks off the one corner guard and runs the red into the rings, and you can see Brennan's reaction after. One of those days, high eyebrows.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely bad luck for sure, but
certainly might bring 3 into play now.
Still going to need a little help, though, from Gushue, really, to generate a 3, I believe. Mark Nichols playing the run back here. And he'll just get the straight peel, I believe. Did take his own out.
Yeah, not the end of the world taking your own out. Though the last 2 stones, Gushue has taken more of their own stones out than they have.
I was just going to say it. Yeah, I agree. Not the end of the world, but consider where you were 2 shots ago. It's like, it's pretty radically different, that's for sure. And could see, and then add in the fact that you took at least more than half of them out yourself.
Yeah, that's if Mooibroek does stage a comeback, you might think of these last two shots in the 7th.
We get it, yeah. Team Gushue have to give him an assist at least. Scott Mitchell going around the corner this time because he needs 3. Doesn't have the luxury to keep it throwing up a corner guard on the other one. Go around here and hope Brad plays the open one, and you'll come around again and see what happens.
Yeah, they're going to want this rock to stop, or Scott already turned around. He kind of knows. You might have just given Bam Bam a crosshouse double.
Yeah.
Pretty thick.
Yeah.
These rocks aren't the most lively in the world.
So on the out turn.
Needs to hit about 3/4 of this to make it. This will be awfully close.
Let me get it out. Can Brad get it out? He does. That's a game changer.
Basically the game-winning shot.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people can make that crosshouse double the way Mark Nichols just did.
No.
That is a fast-moving rock thrown very accurately.
Sam Mooibroek going to go way outside here. Come around the yellow one as well.
Yeah, the ideal spot would be full back 8 foot buried behind the yellow stone. That's pretty much perfect.
That's a great shot, really. For a game that half the time nobody can find draw weight at all, that's a really nice shot by Scott Mitchell.
He's been playing pretty well. I mean, he played vice all year last year, but stepping down to second for most of the year, going into a new position for one event is sometimes not the easiest in the world.
Yeah.
I believe Mooibroek last year lost the C final to Schwaller in this event. Currently losing the C final to Gushue right now.
Okay.
A quick update on the other two C finals. Team Kevin Cooey up 6-5 with hammer in the 7th. And Brent Pierce is up 5-3 over Kelly Knapp in the 7th. Kelly Knapp having hammer. And in our women's final, we have Team Inglot up 5-4. Schwaller having hammer in the 7th.
Going hard on this. He just feathers it. Which is exactly what you don't want to do.
That certainly brings 3 into play. Sam needs to line up these angles to where they can't eliminate a red stone and still have a shot for 3.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for sure.
Needs to be corner frozen on this yellow in the top 8 foot, and then he'll have some form of double for 3. They have to take the risk being down 4. You can't just play a backline tap and roll and sit 2 because you need more than 2 points.
So Sam Mooibroek now play the same shot he just had Scott Mitchell play.
Brad not even really thinking about it, which is interesting because if you just pick your own out, you're going to give up 3 of it.
Yeah, it's interesting they're not taking a little more because you could split the house here. And
you could split the house. You could draw back 4 foot. You can tap your shot stone back into the reds. This is really the only shot that makes it that Mooibroek has a chance for 3. Now, Brad doesn't miss the same shot twice, but interesting choice strategy-wise.
so Brad Gushue, final stone here in 7. Mooibroek does have hammer. Needs to curl a little bit.
Yeah, no mistake.
And he eliminates everything on that one. And that pretty much ends it.
Yep, Sam's not even going to throw his stone.
So definitely an odd curling game. Gushue does emerge with the victory and qualifies for tomorrow's playoff round. Sam Mooibroek, you got to feel a little bit for him. He played 7 games this weekend and walks away without qualifying. That's a tough road to hell, but it was a bit just an odd curling game, Sam, I think.
Yeah, both teams struggled on different ends of the game, but Gushue coming out on top in the latter half of the game and gets to make the playoffs, and 2 more teams will join him.
So we will encourage you now to drop over to watch. There's still 3 games going on. The ladies' final still going on, and it's close. And we have a couple of other C qualifiers that are still on as well. So you're welcome to jump over there and see them. And most of those games have commentary, so that'll be nice as well. And we will sign off. It's Jim Nix for Sam Steep and for Jaiden Bishop and Cailey on the cameras. We thank you very much for joining us this evening. We've been thrilled to be able to bring you this C qualifying game and weekend games all weekend. Be sure to tune in for tomorrow's playoffs. And on behalf of everybody else at Curling Stadium, we will say goodnight from here in Swift Current, Saskatchewan.
Handcrafted. Join the revolution.